Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and here's a headline from Finance Feeds. SEC vs. Ripple. Settlement could bottleneck flow of XRP, says expert. And so part of what's discussed here, and it's going to be a primary focus of what I want to share in this video, is this idea that because of what's happening with the SEC versus Ripple case, if there's a settlement, part of that could result in the distribution of XRP changing in a way that's going to delay XRP hitting open markets, which would increase, potentially dramatically, the price of XRP because we're talking about simple supply and demand dynamics. Now, I'm actually not as convinced as this expert, who many of you are very familiar with, let's say, at this point. I'm not quite as convinced that, and I will articulate why I'm not convinced that this will be the case. I'm not convinced that part of a settlement will require this delay, because I'd be surprised if Ripple agreed to it, unless there's some sort of workaround that I haven't even conceived of yet, which is possible. But before I go any further, I do want to be clear at the outset, I do not have any sort of legal or financial background. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos as a fun hobby about Ripple and XRP and crypto and unicorns, mostly unicorns. But that's all that's going on here. Damn it. And so into this piece we go. The lawsuit between the SEC and Ripple is most likely ending in a pre-trial settlement. 96% of all SEC cases are settled before trial, and of which 60% before litigation and 90% in discovery. And so we're still in the discovery process right now. I'll not be surprised if we see a settlement prior to that for so many reasons that I've already articulated. I don't want to rehash all of that, but not the least of which would be the fact that Ripple's fair notice defense has teeth. It's this idea that Ripple conducting their business in the clear and open, actually communicating that proactively to the SEC, and the SEC not taking action, but somehow, despite all of this, they should have known that what they were doing was illegal when there's not sufficient regulations or policy in place that would have communicated that to Ripple, which is completely unfair. So if that happens, yeah. If that's the route things go, this is over for the SEC, which is why I think it's potentially more likely that instead you would see settlement. But anyway, the piece continues. As the SEC versus Ripple is expected to provide significant precedent for the crypto ecosystem, the whole industry is watching every new episode of the legal battle. We have recently covered attorney Jeremy Hogans' take on the far-reaching consequences of a Ripple win on the fair notice defense. Today we are reporting Mr. Hogans' view of what a settlement would look like after reviewing the Kik and Telegram cases and from settling hundreds of cases himself. Now, first he conjectured that the SEC will want the language enjoining, yes, the word enjoining, Ripple from any future illegal sales and a civil penalty. And so the reason for that is so that the SEC could effectively just save face. They want to look like tough, you know. Now, of course, if settlement happens, Ripple will know, and the SEC will know, and the SEC will know that Ripple knows the SEC knows that the real reason the settlement happened is because the SEC's case is weak. And so, but still, just to get it forward, because the SEC's got to save some face, you got to give them something. And so if this is going to happen, language like that, I could certainly see something that happens. I think Jeremy Hogan makes a perfectly salient point. And then also writes, they write here, disgorgement could be tricky. Quote, XRP has changed hands millions of times. In other words, there's just no way to fairly disgorge profits to investors because there's no way of fairly knowing who to disgorge to, end quote. And then Mr. Hogan pointed to Ripple's likely priorities. To maintain its business, and then parentheses right here, a penalty or disgorgement must not bankrupt the firm, end parentheses, and clarity moving forward. So lawsuit is about past and current sales of XRP, which is key. And this is where we're about to get into this idea of, so stay tuned here because we're getting to the real meat of this, which is what's it going to do to XRP price if what Jeremy Hogan thinks might happen actually happens, and what's the actual likelihood of that, though? And so, in Jeremy Hogan's opinion, a settlement agreement between the SEC and Ripple is likely to include Ripple paying a penalty specifically limited to dates the pre-lawsuit. And so, again, this goes back to, like, obviously, if the settlement happens, Ripple and the SEC will both know it's because the SEC's case is weak, but the SEC will be able to save face, so any outsider not privy to all the information, not following, it'll look like with some of the strong language using the word enjoining Ripple from any future legal sales, so on and so forth, they can save face that way. Also, it will not include disgorgement of profits to purchasers because of the impossibility of figuring out how to disperse the funds. Can you imagine trying to figure that? That would be a complete nightmare. What if how many ledgers have closed on the XRP ledger now? Like 70 million or something stupid high like that? Good luck. Yeah, sure. Good luck unwinding that and then figuring out who goes to what, even if we got to the point where there's disgorgement. Good luck. Anyway, I think it would contain a term that includes limitations on the sales of XRP from escrow. Satisfy Ripple's concerns, namely maintaining its business and on-demand liquidity. And so, if you're talking about limitations here, because this is one thing that Jeremy Hogan cited, he's like, well, if you'd perhaps only be able to sell to basically accredited investors. And here's something worth knowing right now. From a legal perspective, Ripple can sell right now anyway to whoever they want to, but they only sell to accredited investors. They've never sold to the end user, and that's by design. So if there's some sort of stipulation in the future in place that they can only sell to accredited investors, great, nothing changes. That's fantastic. But there could be, Jeremy Hogan stated, limitations. Like, what if Ripple distributing XRP, getting it out into the wild to exchange partners? What if there's like a 1-year limit? He says that could happen. A 1-year limit between whatever party Ripple sells to and then that say it's an exchange. What if there's a 1-year limit between when that happens and when the exchange can actually make it available on the open market? So, because if that happens, it's simple supply and demand dynamics. And if there's less XRP available than there otherwise would be, then the price would go up. And that much is true. This is a known concept. It's supply and demand, right? So then you could debate to what degree. Well, Ripple's not selling a ton of XRP right now anyway, so I don't know for sure that it would necessarily matter. But I also don't think that Ripple would necessarily agree to that unless there's something that I've not conceived of. And if you can think of something, let me know in the comment section below. But Ripple needs to manage liquidity as a part of their business model. And if they can't sell XRP to crucial exchange partners that can then put it into practice for on-demand liquidity using XRP as a bridge currency, then I don't know why Ripple would settle. Why would they? That wrecks their business model. And so that's something that that wasn't brought up most recently when Jeremy Hogan was talking about this. I don't see how that happens. I don't see why Ripple would ever agree to that. Because look, even if they agreed to it, yes, it wouldn't hurt them from a funding perspective unless people were less exchanges were less likely to purchase from Ripple. That would hurt them financially, and I don't know for sure if that would happen. But if they're able to sell and then there's just this holding period, that still hurts the flow. The purpose of on-demand liquidity is to be able to shift it around where and when you need it. And so yes, the XRP that's already in the wild, exchanges can move that around. But as on-demand liquidity grows, you can't scale it based on demand if Ripple can't do that. If Ripple can't sell it to an exchange partner and then that hits the market, you have a problem. Potentially have a problem. Because right now there have been lockups before, but those were voluntary lockups by Ripple. Ripple has had agreements with specific partners, and sometimes they even got sweetheart deals in terms of price. But there were lockup periods, sometimes upwards of a year. But that doesn't mean that Ripple couldn't choose to have other transactions where there wasn't a lockup period and maybe it would be sold at market rate, right? So, if you take away that flexibility, I still think you potentially have a problem. So I don't know for sure. I'm just kind of skeptical here. But yeah, I mean, technically in theory, if you're just talking about supply and demand dynamics, yes, that would be good for the price of XRP. Would it be substantial? I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced it would be substantial because there's not a lot of new XRP coming from Ripple right now anyway. So, the distribution is what it is. Like Ripple's intentionally keeping their distribution out into the wild down to a very small percentage of volume for a reason. That's because they don't want to flood the market, because that would negatively impact the price of XRP. And Ripple has the most to lose when it comes to the XRP ecosystem. They're the largest holder of XRP on the planet, so it stands to reason. This all makes sense, right? And then another thing they cited here in the article, which was covered by Jeremy Hogan, was that exchanges need to have the confidence to relist XRP. And so in some way they're going to have to communicate that. Yeah, as far as the bottleneck here with XRP, not convinced that's the next thing to talk about here. And then put XRP in the clear as far as securities violations. Ripple would be the first crypto company to be 100% in the clear. Yeah, so that would be rather positive, and that's what we're all ultimately hoping for here. There's going to be regulatory clarity for Ripple and XRP one way or another. Like that is going to happen. That much we know. We just don't know exactly what it's going to look like and how things will unfold. But yeah, there could be a bottleneck. I'm not convinced it's going to happen, because I'd be surprised if Ripple agreed to it unless there's some sort of dynamic that I'm not thinking of. In which case, if you can think of it, drop it in the comment section below, because I don't pretend to know everything. It's just my take on it. But either way, the SEC, I'll tell you what, I would rather be Ripple than the SEC in this position. The SEC has a terrible battle to fight. They are in the wrong, and I don't think that they've taken on this case against Ripple for respectable reasons. I don't think they're doing this for the right reasons. I think it looks like a money grab and a power grab, and it's just like a bizarre thing, but here we are. So anyway, I'll wrap up there. I'm not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.